Hi guys, so this is my Portrait of the Dead essay, and it's for my sister. It's called The Story of Elizabeth Grace, and it starts off with this. Have you ever had somebody in your life that helped you figure out who you were? Somebody who showed you the right path, someone who was there right next to you even if you did not take that path? Someone who has always seemed to be right, but never hold it against you whenever you were wrong? Someone whom without your life would most likely be entirely different? I was lucky enough to have someone like that, and she was my sister. Her name was Elizabeth. Elizabeth was had a kind of understated beauty. Perhaps it was because she was disarmingly unaware of her prettiness. Her ivory skin was completely flawless. I doubt she used any face makeup or inexpensive products. My brother Dylan explains his older sister as a pretty girl with long blonde hair and blue eyes. Dylan continues to describe her with, Libby was very energetic and could light up your whole world. She was all about simplicity, making things easy, helping those around her to relax and be happy with what they have. Perhaps this is why her skin glowed so. It was her inner beauty that lit her eyes and softened her features. When she smiled and laughed, you couldn't help but smile along too, even if it was just on the inside. To be in her company was to feel like you were somebody, that you had been warmed in summer rays regardless of the season. As a younger girl, I admired her dearly. I watched everything she did, hoping to become like her. I would watch the way she dressed, the way she talked, and the way she acted towards people. As we became older, we grew closer, to the point where we could probably know the number of hairs on each of our heads. I remember laughing with her until milk spat on my nose because she tripped and fell on one of my brother's Hot Wheels cars. Every day was an adventure with her, and there was never a dull moment if she was present. I remember taking bike rides and walking our dog through the metro parks and telling each other our secrets. Because why would you tell anybody else your secrets when you have a best friend as a sister? Not only was she my best friend to me, but to Dylan as well. Dylan explains and says, Elizabeth always found time to spend time with both me and Miranda. I remember having pen wars together, which was simply just a game of throwing sharp objects such as pens and pencils at each other, and whoever lasted the longest won. We would also bake together and watch our favorite war movies late at night, but when she would make the popcorn, she always seemed to burn it. I cherish all of our memories and will never let any of them go as long as I live. But there is one memory that sticks with me the most. This memory is of Elizabeth and I taking our daily walk with our dog through the neighborhood that we lived in at the time, Melody Village. This was our time to vent, laugh, and just spend time with each other since we were attached at the hip. On a warm fall day, we pursued our walk with our dog just like any other day. Everything was normal as we complained about our home lives and wished our ages awaited adulthood. Then, with just a simple phrase, it became anything but an ordinary day. The sun was beginning to set and the wind was slightly blowing the leaves around our ankles. The dog was barking at a squirrel, and Elizabeth's golden hair was blowing around enough to be annoying. Randomly, she turned to look at me. Elizabeth said, Sometimes I wish I was not here anymore. My 12-year-old mind started to wander frantically, wondering if she meant here at home with Mom or here on this earth. I tried not to show my perplexity, hoping she would continue her thoughts as she did. Elizabeth turned away from me and said, I feel like I caused too much trouble in this family, and I hate myself for it. Our home lives were nearly not the best, and we did have to go through a lot. But for Elizabeth to think it was all her fault just filled me up with more emotions than my hardly mature mind could ever handle. Afraid to lose her, I continued with Libby, no matter what happens, I love you, and we are here for each other. We both have to promise we will stay strong and push through this. Elizabeth willingly promised. That day will never leave my mind. Knowing she was hurting too bad because of the things our parents have done had broken me up. We had both lost the aspect of family, and I surely did not want to lose the only thing I had left to live and strive for, which was her. After a couple of days, the lives went back to normal, as we both acted like we had never had that conversation. About a week after that fall day, we got into a fight. The fight was nothing big, but something big enough to spit words at each other that we should not have said. My last words to Libby before she stomped to our separate rooms were, "I hate you." Waking up the next morning was not like any other morning. I did not wake up to the usual smell of coffee brewing downstairs, no laughter filling the air, or sounds of breakfast being made. I walked downstairs to the side door wide open. My mom is frantically sobbing, hanging onto a body bag with police officers surrounding her. Rubbing my eyes, hoping this is a nightmare, I walk outside. I called out for my mom, getting her attention. She turns to me and begins to cry more. I knew what had happened, but I did not want to believe it. My mom found my 17-year-old sister hanging from the tree in our backyard, her feet inches away from Earth's floor, a cry for attention and help. Setting up for my sister's funeral at the age of 12 did not feel like reality. Walking up to her coffin was an unbelievable sight. Elizabeth looked like she was simply sleeping, laying there as beautiful as always. When my brother sees Elizabeth for the first time, he describes her as a doll with really pretty makeup. Her cold body and pasty white skin sent chills down my spine. When I looked through the pews, all you could see was a sea of black clothing, the blackness resembling the light burnt out, forever extinguished. My dreams became nightmares, a repeat of the awful experience I had been living. Oddly, sleeping is all I wanted to do, because it meant one last time I could see that beautiful face. I did not want to face reality to deal with the fact that she would not be in my life anymore. She would not be there to help set up for the dinner table, walk the dog, or tell me her secrets. If I had one last time to talk to her, I would tell her I loved her. As simple as those words may be, they are very powerful. I love you, Elizabeth Grace, and one day we will soon be attached at the hip in a better place with no more tears, pain, or misery. My sister will die over and over again for the rest of my life. Grief is forever. It does not go away. It becomes a part of you, step for step, breath for breath. I will never stop grieving Elizabeth because I will never stop loving her. This is just how it is. Grief and love are conjoined. You do not get one without the other. All I can do is love her and love the world, emulate her by living with daring and spirit and joy.